What's going on, guys? Gamer Dude back once again with yet another debate video. But before we begin, you'll know the routine, or at least I hope you do by now. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. Now then, today we are going to be talking about Naughty Dog's impending, let's say, new game, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. So in this video we're going to be talking about, well, everything we know about this game. You know, obviously it's been out since 2020. This is just the same game remade. Everything that comes with this new version of the game, why we actually need this remaster considering it's been less than 5 years, and what else the devs have said regarding this. So let's get right into it. Now, last week, after a significant leak spilled the beans early, developer Naughty Dog confirmed a PlayStation 5 remaster of The Last of Us Part 2. Not surprising, considering they re-released the first Last of Us game under the guise of The Last of Us Part 1. So, naturally, of course, we got The Last of Us, then The Last of Us Remastered, then The Last of Us Part 2. Now, it seems because they went with this whole Part 2 thing with The Last of Us 2, they want to sort of rebrand The Last of Us in general with the whole part thing. So I've got the feeling there will be a third game in the future. It's just when. It's a question of when. Anyway, now, as you all know, The Last of Us Part 2 only launched a few years ago. It only launched in 2020. And of course, the game has already received a performance update to allow for 60 frames per second gameplay on the PlayStation 5. So you might be thinking to yourself, well, why does it even need a remaster at that rate? Because the gameplay footage you are seeing is me playing on the PlayStation 5. And I would think it was a PlayStation 5 game. It looks absolutely beautiful. So I'm thinking, why, after such a short time, does it need a remaster? I'll get into detail on that in a little bit. Now, the announcement, of course, has sparked a big debate about whether The Last of Us 2 actually needs a remaster. And I must admit, I'm in with that crowd. I'm thinking to myself, is it really needed this early? I mean, at least with The Last of Us and The Last of Us Remastered, there was a considerable gap, and it was done because the new generation console came out. But you would think if they were going to remaster this game, they would have waited until the next PlayStation 5 came out, you know, the PS5 Slim or the PS5 Pro. I know the Slim is actually out, but the Pro then. You know what I mean, the Pro. You know, just to like give that a launch title. That would have at least given it maybe 4 years instead of 3. But I digress. Now, before we get into everything else, let's lay out everything that comes with the basic package of The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered. Let me just find my place. Sorry, I've written all this down in a script because it's just far too much to remember. Now, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered is due out on January the 19th, 2024. And it would happen to be a day after my birthday. If it came out on my birthday, that would be, like, great. Because, well, then I could just ask for it for my birthday. Instead of having to go out and get it another day. But you know what I'm saying. Anyway, the new game, well, the remastered game, should I say, includes a new roguelike mode called No Return. It will also include lost levels with developer commentary, playable sequences previously cut from the game, a guitar free play, so you get to kind of play Guitar Hero in this game now. You can strum the strings across a host of unlockable instruments. You can use audio effects, pedals to modulate your performance. And you can also now play as different characters in several in-game locations which weren't previously available. There's also graphical enhancements and DualSense integration. And then they go on to say, re-experience or discover for the first time Ellie and Abby's emotional journey with the definitive way to play The Last of Us 2. Now, I'm in two minds about this. One, it could actually be a good thing because I know a lot of people have actually bought PlayStations just so they could play Spider-Man. So a game like this, it might seem to them, they might think to themselves, well, I really want that game, but it's a PS4 game and I don't really want to play it on my PS5. If you catch where I'm coming from. A lot of people might just prefer the PS5 version. And this version, it boasts these all new features, these never before seen levels, which, you could have just included in the first game, but what are you going to do? But I'm sure you understand where I'm coming from with that. Then you've got this new roguelike mode. It's essentially a survival mode. You're in these little map areas and you have to just survive hordes and hordes and hordes of zombies. I'm guessing this is kind of an adaptation to the multiplayer mode that is still not available in The Last of Us Part 2. If you remember the first Last of Us game, it had that grounded mode and you played online in kind of survival waves, you killed each other or you killed zombies. I'm guessing this mode is going to be very similar to that, you're just unfortunately playing on your own. And me personally, I don't have a problem with that because I'm probably going to get hate for this, but I did not care for the grounded mode on the PS3 and PS4 version. I just didn't like it. Sorry, but going into a small lobby, killing each other, it's just not my thing. If I'm going to play an online game, I like an online game that's got a bit of a story to it, things that let you progress as you play, not just going into a lobby and killing each other. That's not ripping on all you Call of Duty players, I'm just saying. Now, this guitar free play mode as well, I kind of like that because I remember on my first ever playthrough of The Last of Us Part 2, anytime there was a chance to play Ellie's guitar, it'd come up as practice whenever she picked up and put down a guitar, I would do it. And I would try to imitate and play songs. And a lot of people have done that as well. There's YouTube videos everywhere. Someone's actually done Dragon Force on the Ellie guitar, and it doesn't sound too good, but it's still good to try. And maybe this new guitar mode will actually make it sound better, considering you can adjust all the audio and FX and everything. Then you've got these previously cut sequences from the game. Now, once again, I digress. Why didn't they just include them in the first place? The devs have said, it's like pre-alpha stuff that we just couldn't fit in or didn't want to fit in or didn't have time to fit in. And it's like, well, instead of having them as cut content in the extras menu that you can just play, why not just integrate them into the game? Update them, give them dialogue, give them extra little bits here and there, and do it that way. I would prefer it that way, but it looks like these little extra playable segments are going to be kind of like an extra that you're going to have to just unlock and play, because you're not going to get them straight away. You're going to have to play through the game and unlock them as you progress. Now, of course, the integration of the DualSense controller makes it fantastic. As if you're using Ellie's bow, you will feel the tension of the bowstring and firing the shot from the L2 and R2 buttons. Same if you're firing a gun, if you're out of bullets, the R2 button will tense and will not let you press it. I love PlayStation's DualSense. It's probably one of the best gaming inventions out there right now. And yeah, back to what I was saying about people, actually playing this game for the first time. If they bought a PlayStation 5 just to play Spider-Man, then this is all right for them, because it might be the only game that they actually have. Spider-Man might be the only game they actually have, and now they're like, okay, well, I've heard good things about this. I used to play PC or I used to play Xbox, and I've heard good things about this from other PlayStation users. I'm going to give it a go now. It's the full PS5 version. And it gives people a chance to experience the franchise. And Naughty Dog have come out with some bangers in the day. Uncharted. Who can ever forget Uncharted? Uncharted was flawlessly beautiful, and I really hope they do decide to make another one. But anyway, moving on. What exactly are these new graphical enhancements? Well, according to Naughty Dog, the remaster has native 4K output in fidelity mode, 440p upscaled to 4K in performance mode, and unlocked frame rate option for TVs that support VRR, increased texture resolution, increased level of detail distances, improved shadow quality, so that means extra puddles, improved animation sampling, and improved loading times. That I am actually looking forward to, because the loading times on The Last of Us Part 2 were like, you could get up and make yourself a coffee, and by the time you got back, it was still loading. So that I'm looking forward to. I got a quote here from Naughty Dog themselves, which states, "It all brings the world of Part 2's story to life in a richer and smoother detail, from the snow-swept mountains of Jackson in Wyoming to the rainy cityscape of Seattle, Washington, and should make a first visit or return trip to the complex journeys of Ellie and Abby all the more engrossing." Now that's from a statement directly from Naughty Dog. And again, I would have to agree. It kind of goes into what I was saying, about new people, if they bought a PS5 just for a specific game, and they see this, they could be like, okay, yeah, I've heard good things about this from the PS4, and now I can get this on the PS5, and it's upscaled and remastered, so I'm going to go for it. Now, Naughty Dog did boast about the new accessibility options by the inclusion of descriptive audio and speech to vibrations, which uses the DualSense controller to indicate character speech and cadence. The unlockable speedrun mode included in The Last of Us Part 1 is also going to be included in Part 2 Remastered. This will let players post their best times online and run to beat your own best time as well. Let us hope that people don't cheat and the world's best time is 3 seconds. Because I remember one of the leaderboards from The Last of Us Part 1. The top speedrun time on Part 1 is actually 3 seconds. Check it out if you don't believe me. I'm serious, it's there. 3 seconds. It's like, what did you do? Just, like, I don't know how you can do that in 3 seconds. Like, did you just load up the game and then immediately close it? I don't know how that's possible. Anyway. Following The Last of Us Part 1, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered includes the ability to unlock bonus skins for Ellie and Abby and their weapons. This was boasted in the trailer. You could see Ellie wearing a spacesuit, which I think is going to be absolutely awesome if you're wearing a spacesuit taking on zombies, because why the fuck not? I can imagine that would be totally awesome. Photo mode will include dynamic lighting, frame forward and gaze direction, as well as new frame options, logo options, and character poses. Naughty Dog likes to do that with their games. In fact, a lot of developers are now doing that with the game's photo modes. They are including the option to give characters poses, most notably in Marvel's Spider-Man. Now, it is also worth noting that existing owners of The Last of Us Part 2 on PlayStation 4 can upgrade to the digital version of The Last of Us Part 2, providing you have the disc, for a low price of £10. That is phenomenal. I mean, granted, yeah, a lot of these upgrades used to be free. Some of them still are. But £10 is phenomenal, because a lot of these new games now that do these PS4 to PS5 upgrades, you're paying almost full price for it. And that's a bit of a dick move. So this at £10, it is phenomenal, especially considering it's not the same game. It's not the same game, just upscaled. It's got new content, it's got new stuff, it's got new things to do. And that's not to say that the PS4 version of Part 2 won't get some kind of update when Remastered launches, and it gets some of these new features. I don't know, I'm just speculating there. But yeah, that's still phenomenal. Not to mention, you can also import your saves from the original game to Part 2 Remastered to get that easy platinum trophy if you've gotten it already. Now, with all that in mind, let's return to the question at hand. Does it actually need a remaster? What I opened this video with. Now, the debate has raged back and forth over the last few days, and it's actually still going. If you look on Reddit, there's actually a feed still going. Fans have added the context of which other projects are in the works at Naughty Dog, announced and unannounced, as well as the studio's recent output. In the 10 years since the 2013 release of The Last of Us for PlayStation 3, Naughty Dog has released The Last of Us Left Behind, The Last of Us Remastered, Uncharted 4, Uncharted Lost Legacy, The Last of Us 2, and Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collection, not to mention The Last of Us Part 1 remake from the 2013 game. That's all Naughty Dog have done. And as you move further and further into that list, you start to think, well, they're not actually making any new games. They're just remaking it. They're just remaking their older ones. And again, that is another trend that devs seem to be doing. And it's like, just stop. I know it's easier to make a remake of a game you've already done, but just don't. We want sequels. We want new games. Sequels are what players want, especially when it comes down to a franchise like The Last of Us or Uncharted. Now, this new debate then is a repeat of the debate people would have had back when The Last of Us Part 1 was announced for the PS5. Now, me personally, I refuse to buy the same game for a third time. I'll buy it twice, from the PS3 to the PS4 version or the PS4 version to the PS5 version, but I won't buy it for a third time. That's why I have not bought The Last of Us Part 1, because I got it on the PS3, I got the remastered version on the PS4, so it's a bad case of I don't want it. I'm not playing it for a third time when I've already played through it numerous times on the PS3 and PS4. That's just me personally anyway. It's up to you guys however you want to play, however you want to spend your money. But that's just me. Now, some people have debated that it's just a quick cash-in. And, the devs are just doing this because they do have other projects in mind, but they're still years away. So they're just doing this for the sake of doing it. Now, there are many defending this latest remaster, insisting that it provides the definitive version of a classic game for the latest console, and pointing to the upgrade path for its existing owners, given that it's only £10, $10 if you're one of my American viewers. Now, where do you all stand on this new remastered game? Does it actually need a remaster? What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. But all in all, there's a lot going on at Naughty Dog. This is the latest hot topic remaster notwithstanding, but with Sony's PS5 release slate looking a little thin for next year, perhaps remasters are exactly what the company needs right now to plug in the gap in between the obvious gap that's incoming for all future games. So yeah, just let me know in the comments what you guys think. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts and views on this. Happy Thanksgiving to my American viewers. I don't actually celebrate it over here, but still, nonetheless, happy Thanksgiving. I'm here for my community, and I know most of my community base is American, so just happy Thanksgiving. Stay tuned, of course, to the channel. We're going to have a lot coming from me in the future. Some more informative gaming videos. Christmas is coming, so I'm bound to get a few new games. I was going to get the Walking Dead Destinies, but I've seen how terribly bad it is, so I've decided against that. But that's not that. No fret, there's still 3 other games I'm wanting to get. So hopefully I get at least one of them for Christmas, and we can play through that. I'm going to continue a Hogwarts Legacy playthrough at some point. And of course, there'll be plenty more videos like this as well. So, thank you all once again for stopping in. I really do appreciate it. And of course, you all know the routine. If you are new to the channel, please make sure you smash that like button and drop me a subscribe, because it would just be your good deed of the day. Same applies if you are a returning viewer. Now that being said then, this has been Gamer Dude. Happy gaming. And I will catch you all in the next one, guys.